Hi lads, welcome back to another 2018 Russia World Cup review, and today we have a game that on paper not exactly looks the most exciting game. It is Denmark versus Australia, and although on paper they don't have the best teams, it was a relatively good game. Both teams kind of even going at it. Denmark started off the better team as they were pushing forward. Didn't really have any chances until the 7th minute, but before that they were pressing high and getting into some good positions. But they got into the best position when I think it was Sisto at the edge of the box won it, played it onto Jurgensen. I think that's how you say it. Jurgensen. Right, big number 9. He flicked it back. He wasn't looking. Flicked it back into the middle of the box, and Eriksson came in with a left foot volley. So bounced up and he just cut under it, and it just slowly guided into the roof of the net. It was a beautiful finish. Could potentially be one of the best goals of the tournament. I mean, it could be up there with Coutinho's. Obviously, it's not a 20 yards curler into the top corner, but the technique he used, the assist from it as well, and 9 times out of 10 that would have been blasted over the bar. But Eriksson's quality cut under it, and it just back spun into the roof of the net. It was a beautiful goal, and 1-0 to Denmark. And going from that, you would think that Denmark really would have held on to it. They've got a quite solid defence with Christensen and Kaya, Striger Larsson as well, who's a good player, but they were unable to hold on to it as Australia were actually pressing. They were going on some good counter attacks. Just choosing the wrong options, in the last minute of the counter attack, or last deciding moments of the counter attack. Tom Rogic, I know he's a Celtic player and I'm a Rangers fan. I'm not going to be biased, but every time he got to the edge of the box, I don't know why he didn't shoot. If it was against Rangers, he would have shot and probably curled one into the top bins. He must have had a good 3 or 4 opportunities to shoot and try and curl it, but he chose them at the wrong time. So I think maybe he feels more confident playing against the likes of Rangers when he's with Celtic, rather than playing in Australia, who's a weaker team compared to all the other teams, against Denmark, who on paper are better than Australia. But so I thought he should have sometimes tried to go for that shot, and we've seen him do it before, so why wouldn't it work then? So for the goal for Australia, I think it was Aaron Moy that whipped in the corner. I'm not sure who went for the header, but they were up against Poulsen. Poulsen wasn't even looking at the ball, got headed by the Australian player onto his arm. His arm was that high, hit him in the arm, and the play went on. And then after about 30 seconds, the ref pulled it back for VAR. And you just know every single time the ref is going to be called over to the telly at the side, he's going to call it, because the guys in the studio have obviously said that's a penalty, so he's went over to look at it. And there is that element of fear from the referee, I think. If he's been told to stop the game, to go over and check the telly at the side, then he's almost got no option but to give the penalty, because it's what all the guys in the studio think. It's what everyone at home watching on telly, everyone in the crowd will be thinking. He's called for VAR. That's going to be a change decision, but he needs to look at it. I mean, I know it would be a very pressuring situation. So the defensive for Denmark, it was. He wasn't looking at the ball. It wasn't a deliberate handball. So obviously he got a yellow card for it in the end, which was totally wrong, because it wasn't a deliberate handball. So you can't you can't really give a player a yellow card unless it's a deliberate handball. And the player, I mean, you're not going to jump up and not have your arms in the air. You can't jump up with your hands by the side. So you need to have your hands in the air, and that's what I think is unfortunate for Denmark. He jumped up and his hands in the air. It could have bounced anywhere. He could have headed it off his own head. He could have headed it off his body, but headed it off his arm. most likely wasn't a strong enough header to actually go in. It was goal bound, it was heading towards the direction of the goal, but there's no other Australian defender or attacker, sorry, in the position where the ball was going to, and the keeper would have just picked it up. So whether they're giving it because it's goal bound and because his hand's in an unnatural position, whether it is unnatural or not, it could easily be an unnatural position. You need to jump with your arms up. Like it is a definite. You cannot jump with your hands by your side. So it's one of them you could argue all day, and I do think Denmark might be a wee bit hard done by. But the way Australia were pushing, they did have a couple chances. So maybe it was, they maybe deserved that bit of luck. But I mean, they Titty for France last week against Australia. That was a deliberate handball. That was a yellow card. That was nothing like Poulsen's. That was completely different. So yeah, leave down below what you think of that incident. It's really hard to decide. VAR at it again, but Jednak stepped up and Kasper Schmeichel, what are you doing? Surely you would have watched the penalty against France. Jednak does not hit good penalties. I know obviously in that situation you need to dive to a side. You're under a lot of pressure, but Jednak, it's a rubbish penalty. If it goes in, it's like you're cool, calm and collected. If it's a save, then it was a shocking penalty. So even though it went in, it was a shocking penalty. It's just that 50-50 of whether the keeper dives left or right. So I think Kasper Schmeichel should have done his homework, should have stuck with that and went to the same side that Jednak went to against France and done that, because he was giving it all, like shouting at Jednak, trying to put him off, but Jednak was obviously stuck in his way to put it that side. No matter where the keeper goes, that side. Not even in a corner, just that side. So Kasper Schmeichel definitely should have saved that penalty. I know it's hard to say should have saved a penalty, but alright, maybe not have should have saved it, he could have saved it. He definitely could have saved it. So yeah, that was one each, and Australia really exited the first half of the better team, and they entered the second half the better team. They had a few chances. Nothing really too notable within the first 15 minutes. That player Nakut, is his name Nakut? But he dislocated his shoulder. That might be the end of his tournament, so I feel bad for him. It was just, he fell down, tried to put his arm out for it, and it just dislocated. Like that's really unfortunate. But I hope he's all right. There was Matthew. Is it Matthew Leckie? Well, Leckie for Australia I thought he had a great game. Every time Australia were in the attack, he was at the heart of it. He was running down the wing, getting crosses in. And one time, I think it was Aaron Moy that crossed it in. Kasper Schmeichel came at the back post, palm it. Leckie fired it back across, and Kruse couldn't quite get there, and the Denmark defender cleared it over the bar. Another chance for Australia was Arzani. I think his name is Arzani. He had it. I mean, he's a young player. He looks to be a good, young, confident player. He was taking on the players, and yeah, he went down the left hand side, cut in, and had a shot. Maybe should have passed it, but he pulled a save off of Kasper Schmeichel, and then the cross came back in, and it was Leckie there who had the sideways kick, but it bounced into the ground, and then Kasper Schmeichel had a pretty simple save. And then last minute for Denmark, came out to Braithwaite from a corner. He chested it, hit it on the volley. It looked as if to start with it was going to be one of the ones that dip into the far corner, but it wasn't, just into the keeper's hands. And yeah, so it finished 1-1. Not the most. It wasn't the game of a lot of chances, but it wasn't a boring game. It was really, Australia were being really positive, and Denmark were a bit of a disappointment for this game. But Australia really came out and showed that they are not, about getting beat. They're going to go into that last game against Peru and give it their all, try and get the win to try and qualify. They're still in the tournament, and yeah, so that leaves France on 3 points, Denmark on 4, Peru on none, and Australia on 1. So if Peru beat if France play as bad as they did against Australia the other day, Peru could beat them, but Peru need to take their chances. So there most likely will be a match review on that game, And if you did like this video, please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of all the incidents in this game, and any feedback on my videos are much appreciated. So yeah, also subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.